Township Zoning Commission. The commission members present are Alicia. Thought it was Blankenship. Dave Zimmerman, Dave Kelsey, Tiffany Riddle, Eddie Armacost, and Shelby Baird, Tate Township Zoning Inspector. We are meeting tonight requesting modifications to the Tate Township Zoning Resolution, resolution number 2024-604, specifically to address the energy system. This will include the addition of Article 14, solar energy systems, that addresses purpose and intent, definitions, permitted use for solar energy systems, general requirements of all solar energy systems, point of use solar energy system requirements, private solar energy system requirements, PUDs for these solar energy systems. We have a copy of the report from the Fremont County Planning Commission that has approved the request for the zoning amendment as submitted. Anyone who is present at the meeting and has an interest in this case may be heard. We request that you would state your full name and address before addressing the board. Everybody had a chance to take a look at it? Yes, sir.
Mark Jones, Williamsburg, Bantam, and we lived in Tate Township over 25 years, and we really appreciate your service, and we get great public services here. We really like it. Thank you. And the provision regulating the orientation of solar panels and placement on the rooftops and is it private solar, the ones for homeowners?
Mm-hmm.
To get the best value out of a solar system for a homeowner, you have to orientate it towards the sun, and that provision may prevent people from, doing that, if they have to orient in a different direction.
Page 5, number 3, item K, can't be facing the road.
Yeah, they can't be facing the road.
Yeah,
And
it says shall not be visible from a side street of the residence and may not be located on the front slope of a pitch roof.
yeah, so if that's the best orientation for sun, it dramatically limits the effectiveness. And I guess the other issue is it limits it to the main building and its accessory buildings, and people with large lots, they want to use their land to put a farm, or, that thing like on the ground. I don't know, why that couldn't be allowed. But the setbacks and, the other regulations.
There's ground, so they can do ground mounted.
Point of use.
I thought it said,
No, point of use solar energy system requirements cover that. Anything.
Oh,
Yes.
okay.
So that's not an issue.
okay, then just this orientation. I would ask it be modified to permit, best orientation for the sun. It's the most efficient.
Ground mount too, at that here.
Yeah, minimum of 3 acres if it's ground mount.
Oh, okay, yeah. Many people have, 5, 10 acre lots, so they could
Yes.
Sure.
Yeah.
decide to use that. Okay. I missed that, I'm sorry.
No, you're good. I had to read it about 10 times. I'm not going to lie. Sure.
The intention on this was to not blanket permit that use, but certainly provide that as a variance mechanism.
Gotcha.
Should that be the ideal scenario on a case by case basis,
Gotcha.
it's not just a blanket prohibition of that, but you don't expressly authorize it as going through the variance.
So you could get a variance if your best place was on the front.
Yeah, that would be within the
PZA, gotcha.
Mr. Baird, I have a question, maybe. Not maybe, I actually do have a question. Item D, number 2, fire hydrants.
What page are you on?
I am, page 11 for me. It says there must be fire hydrants every 3,000 feet throughout the solar energy system. The solar energy system owner and or operator shall be responsible for installing these hydrants are put in place for the cost of any additional hydrants. I'm questioning. I don't think this is possible. Just because the number of hydrants allowed currently depends on our size of water main. Because of the size of our water mains, that restricts how many fire hydrants we're allowed to have. And I do know that, I looked that up. So if somebody does put in one of these PUD solar farms, are we going to increase the main size to be with the zoning regulation of every so many feet, every 3,000 feet? Are we able to enforce that is a question, because I don't think we have the infrastructure to do so. Is a question I have.
I would see that as being evaluated in the application process, cycle. There's something that is not possible. Work with the fire department to grow to determine what the best workaround solution. But guidelines up front would be the requirement as part of the permitting approval process for the and development. Large, well, in our case, large, but still, space small solar.
All right.
But not a residential or private use.
Fine. That helps, because I don't think our infrastructure. So, every 3,000 feet, depending on where it is.
Well, we are, if you look at what, the fire department is doing with Tate Road with the addition of new fire hydrants out, I think the infrastructure has been upgraded a lot more than what's visible above the ground.
Good, thank you.
So could that be used to deny an application?
We would be, in that planning committee, and reviewing that process, I'm not from the fire department, that's part of the process here, who the stakeholders of approving these larger projects would be safe, fire department is certainly have their vote and say so on approving that plan development. That's where it kicks into the plan development process. The entire application approach is handled much more specifically than just at the discretion of the standard permit process, which is first and foremost the zoning inspector, zoning resolution says this is or isn't. When you go into plan development, there's meetings with different parties and stakeholders that are part of the process along the way. So there would be a hearing. Obviously there's public input, public meeting requirements, and everything to go along with those because it constitutes land use change as well. Did that answer your question?
Yeah, sort of. I mean, it can, you still have to abide by your regulations, or why we're even writing.
Oh, absolutely.
Yes, ma'am.
Lynn Beatty, 2994 Shallow Road, Bethel. I have 2 questions. I'm reading this, just kind of want to put it out there. Did anybody, and again, I could have overlooked this too, because I don't know what PUD does or whatever, decommissioning dollars. I was questioning, shouldn't we have some decommissioning dollars up front from anybody that is proposing to sell back the energy part, not for the home people, but anybody who wants to come in and sell back, like Nestle would, but not as big. because we don't know what's gonna happen. I mean, so many of these solar places are sold 3 to 5 times already. I mean, if you don't have a substantial dollar sign and reevaluate it every so often, just to make sure that, hey, if they walk away from it today, now's what's today's value versus 5 years ago value.
So I do think that there's a bond, I'm trying to look, there is a bond that they have to have for a PUD for cleanup. So if they go defunct and they just leave all of it there is bond money in here, I promise I'm
Okay.
still looking,
I
I
saw the
cannot talk and read
25,000
at the same
somewhere, but
time.
I can't remember if that was.
That's another bond for
Okay.
something else, you're right,
Page
there's like
16.
3, page 16, thank you.
Section.
Yes, number 5.
Number 5, yeah. Solar system owner operator shall provide a decommissioning bond in the amount determined by the board of trustees to offset cost, for removing all site materials such as solar collectors, mounting hardware, buildings, fencing, and all other infrastructure.
And my other part was maybe have a reevaluation ever so often, because they're usually like 20 to 30-year plans. What's today and 15 years is gonna be way different with what prices are just 5 years ago.
That's under number 1.
That-
Decommissioning plan shall
Yes.
be
Okay.
reviewed, resubmitted, and reapproved.
Every
5 years, 5 years. And the other thing, and thank you, because
No,
I've read this
it's
several
great.
times
Yeah.
too, but it's like,
I've read it a whole bunch of times too.
yeah,
so-
I've read this laying across the table, quite cross-referenced, so I'm just thinking. My other concern and question is the home use, and even for the big ones, it sits there, it says you have to have it cleaned up or moved. I didn't see, again, overlooked it, just questioning, if there's any unused, broken, you don't wanna use or don't want to do solar anymore, or let's go with homeowners first, that they cannot leave them on the property or bury them on the property. That concerns me terribly.
I think it said it had to be removed within
3 months.
3 months.
Removed from what though?
The property.
From the property.
I'm
Okay.
looking.
But how would you know they're being removed and deposited or disposed of in an appropriate place?
The small solar energy system shall be perceived to be discontinued or abandoned if no electricity is generated by such system for a period of 3 continuous months. But there is something in there that says that they can, there's, it was within a year, it had to be cleaned up.
One right below it, Tim.
What page are you on?
I'm on my 16.
Okay.
Number 4, eh?
Upon discontinuation or abandonment of the solar energy system, the owner shall be notified in writing that it has no more than 12 months in which to dismantle and remove the system, including all solar-related equipment or apparatuses related thereto, including but not limited to buildings, cabling, electrical components, solar panel roads, foundations, and other facilities from property. So that's good, from property. It also must restore the property to its original condition before the small solar energy system was constructed. If the small solar energy system owner fails to dismantle and or remove all components within the established time frame and restore the property to its prior condition, the township may complete the decommissioning at the owner's expense.
Because that's for the small solar energy system, that's not a homeowner. You're right, that's talking about somebody who's feeding it to the grid,
Bring
getting
it
money
back to
for
where,
it.
what about the homeowner?
Okay, let's see.
And
Still
well,
alive.
and I guess too, the thing is there a way that we find out that they are disposing it in a place that's appropriate for solar panels to go to? And that is leaving Ohio or wherever they're, I mean, to my knowledge, I think like Arizona and Oklahoma is for windmills. I think Arizona, there's a place there for solar panels, but they're so limited, Rumpke doesn't take them. So where are they going to dispose of them? Not around the block or in a, you know what I'm saying? Is there a way that I don't know if there's a way
Good
to
question.
make them have a receipt to show where they got rid of them at? I don't
Right,
know.
because you're right, digging a hole and burying them on the property is.
And that's my
Right, they do
concern,
it
how are you gonna know they didn't just bury them? Because a lot of people do that.
No,
Because
you're
it's
right,
toxic waste.
you're right. Must be right.
But I just didn't know what you're able to do. And as well as with the homeowners, because we all know now, the homeowners could just bury them under or forget it. So something you wanna find in the future.
Mhm.
general provisions, actually, I'm sorry, it wraps the works.
What page? I'm sorry.
I'm on page 4 with item
Four,
C.
yeah, it's section 14.4C.
Got it. Do you guys want me to keep reading this? That help what we're talking about, or no? I don't wanna read these
Shelby,
items.
which one are you talking about?
I think this answers part of her question on general provisions for all solar.
Right.
Requirements of all solar energy systems, within all zoning districts, solar energy systems shall be repaired, replaced, or removed within 30 days. Failure to do so may result in solar energy system failure.
Which then, if they don't do anything, the township will come in at the owner's expense. But it still doesn't say anything about how they get rid of them.
Well, we would probably discuss further about where role
Right.
plays.
Yeah. If I change the oil in my car, are you gonna watch and see where I get rid of it at? Yeah, I agree.
I guess it wouldn't hurt to have a guide.
Maybe.
Want to direct you there, but I don't know about enforcement.
Well-
They can't take toxic chemicals or whatever, huh?
Right.
Right, but the townships and Rumpke control that, it's the
Yeah,
gang,
it's true, yeah.
not.
And I think there's a few things in here that I don't think can be regulated to begin with. And I'm not being a negative person, but here's, like, if we're requiring mature 8 feet trees to come in, we can't get people to mow their lawn. Like, who's gonna regulate that within 3 years that a tree is gonna be 10 feet with a max height of 18 feet? That's in here. I mean, I don't know, who's gonna go out and
The
regulate
zoning
this?
inspector does that.
The zoning inspector.
They're
Right, like-
operating, if you follow along, in the PUD for small solar, get back to, page 16, this is, requirements, section D, starts on page 11, requirements to create a solar energy system, a small solar energy system, or any other solar energy system seeking rezone. That part answers your question. Well, this is a rezoning case. So the process for that is very different than applying for a standard permit. Section F. Right, it starts at the very bottom of page 16. The annual compliance report. I don't know if you want me to read it out or not. The applicant, owner, and or operator or energy system will file an annual compliance report with the Tate Township Board of Trustees. The annual compliance report must confirm compliance with any and all conditions pertaining to the approval of the PUD as well as compliance with these regulations. Additionally, the applicant, owner, and or operator shall provide the information requested by the zoning inspector, including but not limited to information regarding the yearly electrical output on solar energy system, net metering agreement and report, any records of complaints, applicable resolutions, any other reasonable information requested by the Tate Township Board of Trustees. Second part of that annual operating permit, annual compliance report is pay the applicable filing fee as stated in the township fees. So there is an annual compliance checkpoint. So, if we say, your requirements, they have to be 10 feet, is it within 3 years? There's a checkpoint every year. So if they put in trees and after 2 years, they're still only 1.5 feet high, then obviously they're not complying with the conditions of their operating permit. Or the PUD, the conditions of the PUD.
Right.
Well, if I don't report it that way. After going 2 foot tall, so you know,
probably do a drive-by,
Correct.
go out and see, hey, it is what they told me.
There, you know, as a result of this text amendment, there's going to be some administrative procedures that are going to have to be created in response to this new part of the zoning regulations.
That's gonna be a lot more.
This-
Anybody else? No?
I just had a statement, Lucinda Chandler, statement 774. Currently, solar panels are not recyclable in this part of Ohio, or maybe not in any part of Ohio. And when they fail, let's say they get holes in them by, rocks, hail, whatever, they have to be pulled off and put in a building and just stored indefinitely. I know this for a fact because my neighbors own some solar panels in another county, and they've had to replace them. So that's something to take into consideration. They are not recyclable right now. So, you want to be aware of this. Thank you.
We'll send this to the trustees to be part of our resolution. Oh, yes, ma'am.
Can I have,
Sure.
sorry, Lynn Beatty, was wondering if you send this and it's passed, it's not set in stone, am I correct? It can always be amended as you find or see more problems or things that maybe need to be changed or improved, taken out, added, whatever. That's always the option, right?
Okay,
Absolutely.
and if we turn it down, the trustees can vote yes and removal will last
Or and vice versa.
This seems to be pretty strict. There's a lot of restrictions.
Yes.
So, just the thing we brought up, like the 3,000 feet on the fire hydrants, there's a whole lot of things. And then by this being a PUD, that's a lot more restrictions than just a normal, pay your $200 per permit, and we have a 5-minute meeting and we're done. This has got all kinds of different things, people have to meet, different groups, different organizations, to get all these things in order for something. So it's not gonna be a half willy-nilly, 5-minute deal out the door. There's gonna be some stuff on it.
And I understand that, and I was with the solar panel field when the commissioners and stuff came out the other week. And there's broken panels out there, and my big question that I had in my head is, well, where are those broken panels going out of the corner? Yeah, where are they putting them? Where are they getting rid of them from? Where are they going to? Or they're gonna be stuck over there somewhere.
It'll have to be, and then part of the PUD that we'll have to discuss in the application. Sure, right?
Yes.
And that's what made me wonder with the homeowners and stuff, where are they putting their solar panels? They take them down, decommission, break or whatever.
I think it may behoove the commission to, ensure we're reviewing, section B, which is the process for designating. What is the application process for this solar, small solar grid energy system coming into play? How does it come about getting approval? So we've had a couple of questions related to compliance issues for questions to fire hydrants in 3,000 feet.
Right.
And I think you'll be happy to know that a part of that's commission.
Yeah.
Noting that, the PUD is going to go through the zoning, as well as the county regional planning. So what we get as our community is people and representatives of us directly get a voice in the process. Whereas with Nestlewood, we were just distant and had no voice, no say, whether it went through or not. this is, it may not finish, if somebody wants to comply with all the steps, and with this, and all the guidelines. But at least they are the restrictions, the guidelines that the township set, not that are set directly by Columbus or by.
And we can be flexible if they wanted to put solar panels on the front of their house, because that is more efficient for them to catch the sun, correct?
But that's the BZA, not us.
Right,
But it's still within our.
Right,
It's,
right.
you know,
Right, we have to say.
that, so that is empowering to us, whereas before, you know, where this has distant interest, the lawyers just are involved in the process.
If they sell the one out there on their court, somebody else that has to come back through again,
No.
by being a different owner.
it's
No,
a real
probably
problem.
grandfather.
It's,
Grandfather to that owner, but a new owner would still be grandfather.
at any rate, anything by state, anything, any solar facility above 50 megawatt output is not under the jurisdiction of the county. It's, regulated by the Utilities Commission and Power Cycle. So, now, but there have been regulation, state law changes to put representation from townships and from counties into that process more directly than had been before. You know, it's not necessarily on topic of what we're talking about, but it's good information that, with Senate Bill 52, which I don't remember what ORC that's exactly turned into, they are appointing ad hoc voting members, one from the township, one from the county, each. There are ad hoc voting members on the power siting board. So any new application by any new utility level above 50 megawatt in Tate Township is going to have a trustee and commissioner be part of that application process from the start. Not just if they feel like getting lawyers and registering as interveners in the case. It's baked into the process now for the application process. So while this zoning regulation doesn't have any effect or jurisdiction over something the size of Nesselwood, the state has recognized that they need to visit the fact that the people need to be involved in the process, not just, you know, a purely eminent domain concept where it's just we're just do it. That's it. Now, if they should some new owner take that and split it up, say we want to take this and we want to split this into two, and we want to get below 50 megawatts on Tate Township, in this case, they're not going to be enjoying agricultural CAUV tax base anymore. They're going to have to follow our CAUV
They've already banned everything over 50 megawatts in Tate Township.
Correct.
In several other townships.
To the extent that still they can, but the state would still felt like it probably overruled.
They're not, they're still in question.
That's all. Anybody have anything to say?
Does anybody here in the room have solar?
I'm sorry?
Does anybody here in this room have solar?
Yeah.
That doesn't count.
Or what?
That doesn't count. She said she has solar fences. She said
Oh, she
Ma'am,
asked if anybody
that she
in the
had
room
solar fences.
Correct.
Oh,
Solar
yeah, okay.
fencing.
I just wondered if they did have it, what did they think about it? I'm not for it, but
No, it's just a
maybe in the
fence. It's
future
just
I
a-
might be.
It's just a fence for their cattle, and it's got a solar thing that makes it.
Oh, really?
Makes it electric.
Yeah.
It's just a little panel. It's not.
They only last 3 years at the most.
Yeah.
Well, I'm getting educated.
The lightning storm.
From a lightning storm.
Yeah, it'll hit. Lightning will hit that from here.
I mean, the bad ones.
park right in the roads.
The sun,
Well, they had recycling
Charges
there,
the
so
battery.
they come back.
Well, like, you
Okay.
go out
like
like
the solar
your
panels.
warranty and I just try to recycle back
Yeah.
to TSC
You
and
get
get
a
another charger.
big thunderstorm with a lot of lightning in it.
As long as it's not
2 out of 10, but yeah, hit your fence. It's done mine, I've had to
Hey,
replace
I'm
it.
gonna-
Buy new ones and they put batteries in them.
Wow.
Usually what I do is I
Anybody
move
wanna
it.
make a motion that we send this to the trustees for approval?
I'll make a motion.
I'll second it.
Thank you for that
Roll
information.
call, okay, I'll do it.
Yeah.
Miss Gay.
Who's on the house?
Yes.
I'm going to say no, the way it was written, I was like.
Motion to continue.
I'll second.